This is not for the weak, and this is not for the simple of mind. These are not the times for people who need one issue at a time, very carefully and very methodically presented. Doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. This is like nothing we've seen before. It's always like nothing we've seen before. We're going to be talking about things today as I welcome you and I sit back and marvel yet again at how so few people can grasp the complexity of issues, the grays, the colors, the shadows. Yes, but the Russell Brand case is not even about Russell Brand. It has nothing to do with Russell Brand. It has nothing to do with Russell Brand. Nothing. It's not even remotely, I don't even know what the word is. It's not, it's about the media issues. The Tim Ballard case, far more interesting. The recycling of issues and what they mean and how you should prepare for this, but not as a member of the scrum, the group, the pitchfork and torch crowd. That's what people are today. There are people who have absolutely no interest in Russell Brand itself. That's not it. They have no idea. It's just the scrum. There have been reports during rioting, during looting, that people who would have never looted before, people who for whatever reason, find themselves in the position all of a sudden of going into a hardware store and taking something, or a liquor store and taking something, and they don't know why. They don't know why. They don't understand it. They can't believe they're doing it, but it's the moment. It's the scrum. It's this mosh pit. It's this thing that people jump on. And the same thing goes for, I've seen it a million times. I've seen it with Trump. I've seen it with everyone. And they do things because they enjoy the camaraderie and the group. I'll give you an example. The Tim Ballard case. Tim Ballard was the head of Operation Underground Railroad. I have never believed, I don't buy a lot of this story. I never did. Little background here. We are seeing, and you must always pay attention to what's going on. We are seeing something which is very interesting. There is a group of folks right now who represent a contingent of what we would call the, I guess, warriors, prior warriors, people who are in the military and the like, and they do these shows. And all of them are prior Navy SEALs. They look identical. They're, identical. They look like the SEALs or the intel ops in Afghanistan. Fredziful beards, covered in tats, angry, tough, hyper, super duper, prototypical male. That's the thing. Always showing pictures when in battle. This is who we are now. Now, Vietnam. Listen to those folks. Completely different. Their whole thing most of the time was, why are we at war? What are we doing? It's the most ridiculous. These were absolute killers. This was, there were SEALs there, but they had a different attitude. They talked about service, but they didn't sit around and, that's where we are now. Listen to what I'm saying. It's this thing about being the male. It's this hyper masculinity to hide things. I'm not suggesting these soldiers and ex-SEALs are hiding something, but it's who we are. And what's also important to note and critical to note is that social media defines the social media defines for you the way people think. Okay. So they sit around and they're talking about daring do, and everybody was next. It's really something. How many people were in secret ops or whatever it was who were just yammering about, I did this, I was that, this was classified, this wasn't classified. It's even so bad now we have stolen valor at levels we've never seen before. Stolen valor. Do you hear what I'm saying? Stolen valor. It's incredible. Look at this. There's Wesley Miller. Let's start the morning with 9 hand farts. I'm working into it. A little dry. But thank you, dear friend. Thank you. Very, very nice of you. I appreciate that. These are people who follow me through this. This is going to be tough for people to say, and they're going to be saying, what is he getting at? What is he getting at? I'm telling you what I'm getting at. Tim Ballard came along with this. Tim Ballard came along with this world. George Lenn says, you see this in sport as well. No humility, and it's all about me. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Look at where we have right now. Listen to what, work with me on this one. This is Tim Ballard, okay? The story didn't make any sense. People that I've met, people who are, and I'm not suggesting people aren't who they say they are, but there was this thing about not highlighting the war. I told you we had we have a friend of family, and their father was on Normandy. Now, Normandy, D-Day, was like Woodstock. Everybody was on Normandy. He was on Normandy. There he is. They put together this shadow thing. I mean, to see dog tags and orders, and it was incredible. This guy never said. You know these people. Our grandfathers and uncles are like this. They just never said anything. They never talked about it. They just never did. And these were killers. These were people who saw stuff. Not today. Today, it's the first thing I do is I want to do a podcast. I want to go on this guy's show. I want to be covered. I want to look. This is my uniform now, ex-military. And I want to sit around indistinguishable from others. When they sit around with the beards and the hat and the glasses and they look all alike. So here comes Tim Ballard. Okay, he does this thing. For some reason, they didn't like him because of his affiliation with Trump. They didn't like him. They hated him. That's number one. Then they started, as he did his thing, the focus was again, and Mrs. Ellen and I said this, why are you going to other countries? America first. You want to adopt? Adopt here. You want to stop human trafficking? Go here. You know the number of families who are trafficking their daughters? What do you think that 16-year-old girl in the UK with Russell Brand, her mother, what do you call that? I'm not saying mothers trafficking per se, but people have this strange of allegiance to their children. I've never seen anything like it. I don't understand it. But to make a long story short, okay. So he does this story, and then later on we find out it is alleged he has to step down from Operation Underground Railroad because of, nobody really knew. Nobody said it. But people were saying, oh, this guy. Now, work with me. When you say, oh, this guy, you mean the cause is wrong? No. You mean the cause is phony? No. You mean he's a phony? Well, maybe not phony, but he has some other issues. Now, people are not able to say, okay, so Operation Underground Railroad is still legitimate. The cause is legitimate. The focus is legitimate. The idea of human trafficking is still legitimate. He's just a philanderer. Okay, we'll just pull that out of the equation and everything stays it. It's like one of those games where you build this stack up and you pull these little, pieces of wood or whatever it is. You can't do that. It's you throw everything away. If Tim Ballard is a philanderer, it's all gone. There is no human trafficking. There is no call for sound of freedom. There is nothing. They can't do this. They can't compartmentalize. Same way with Russell Brand. They can't do it. It's one big story. And anything that is a problem with it, they throw it away. Because they can't do it. They're not interested in this. People can't do this. Nobody cared that Einstein married his cousin. Or what? No, nobody cared about that. Einstein was seen in those women's sandals. I remember seeing that shot. I think it was on Long Island. Nobody cares about that. Can't do that. Other people, their particular action doesn't matter. Hunter Biden is as debauched and sick and demented as you can get. Hunter Biden makes Russell Brand look like a choir boy. Russell Brand, if there is a defense of this, Russell Brand said, or would say, I never pulled any of these women off the street. I never pulled any of I never did anything. I never did anything to coerce these women. They came to me. These are 4 women that we're talking to. None of them I didn't attack any of them. They came to me. And one of them, I forget which of the story, 1 or 2, were upset because there were other women involved. So they might have felt left out. That in no way excuses him. But this is in no way the classic sexual battery we're talking about. Let me stop right now, just for 1 second. Let me remind you how critical it is that you like everything. You have no idea the impact in terms of algorithms, logistics, being recommended to other people. You have no earthly idea. When you like this video, this is you saying, okay, we're going to raise this algorithm and we're going to put it so that other people come along, because I want people to come in here and to recognize that we are not crazy. We are not this right-wing conspiracy theory lunatic group. We are not. We've got some loudmouths who are troublemakers and we love them to death, but we are not like this. So it's critical that you like this and subscribe to the channel. If you are not subscribed, subs mean everything to these people. Do you know what they say all the time? Well, Russell Brand is 6.6 million. That's it. But Charles Manson at 8 million. Well, that's a different story. I mean, it's weird, the metrics of this. We live in a number craze. You live in, 3 out of 4 stars on Yelp, 3 out of 4 stars in Travelocity, 3 out of 4 stars in TripAdvisor, 3 out of 4 stars, 5 out of 5. Rate us. That's what we do. That's critical. So please, I ask you that. Also, what's important to understand, My Patriot Supply. Let me tell you what happens. Let me just give you a very quick story. Preparedwithlionel.com is the website. This is where you go to save $200 off a 3-month emergency food kit. This is where you have a 25-year shelf life. Now, imagine telling this to different people. Imagine you telling this, explaining this to a regular crowd, somebody on some website about football or something. They're going to say, wait a minute, you're saying there's going to be a food shortage? Yes. Here? They live in La La Land. Not football people, but just, what? Well, I have stuff. No, you don't understand. There's a deep state, a police state, an intel state, a shadow government, a ruling class. There's all kinds of stuff out there. There's all kinds of problems that are there. Oh, are you one of those conspiracy theorists? No. Have you watched Lahaina? Have you this? Do you see what's happening? Do you understand how precarious? Remember the supply chain breakdowns? Remember when we had the trucker strikes? Remember when we ran out of toilet paper after COVID? Remember? Yeah, but that's the way they think. That's the way they think. They're not bad people, but that's why they come here. That's why when I say preparewithlionel.com, you understand it. It's not crazy to you. The idea of, there is going to be food shortages because stores are going to close, either by order, by just pick your reason. You know this. This is why they come here. Other people, if you tell them this, they look at you like, what are you talking about? Just like if you have, for example, well, do you have a weapons, or can you defend yourself at home? Do you have ammunition? What? This guy's, you must listen to that Alex Jones. This is the way people think. They're calling people who believe in child human trafficking as conspiracy theorists. This is the way it is. They think this scrum, you're demented. They think you live in la la land, that you live in a world of darkness and make-believe, and that they don't think of you. So that's why Prepare with Lionel is so critical. And that's why you're here. And that's why the response, because you understand it. This is something that when you tell somebody, do you have a generator? Do you have a gravity water purifier? What are you talking about? And then they love to say, oh, you and your black they used to say the black helicopter joke. I don't know where that one came from. Tinfoil hat. So preparewithlionel.com. You understand what's going on. You get it. I don't have to explain this to you. I was watching, there was Fox News was on in the background. I was watching this one piece. I wanted to catch something about the UN. And they had on a financial person who said, make sure you set a budget. Make sure that your priorities match your ability. This was a segment? What is this, for children? If I say, excuse me, could I say something, Steve? Is it Doocy, Poosey, Pusey? And the lady with the cries and the other, yeah. Do you have emergency food? What are you talking? That's considered crazy. It's Mormons have been doing it forever. Everybody's been doing it. Oh, you're one of those live off the grid types. You're one of these. I don't understand why the scrum thinks this is crazy. I have no idea. Preparewithlionel.com. I'm going to give you one example of something too. You know who David Frum is? David Frum is one of the usual suspects. He's trying to make his way around, trying to make his way back to whatever it is. This is David Frum. Let me read something to you. You're going to love this one. By the way, I see a picture of this little boy who died of fentanyl. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. Hang on a second. There's a lot of good stuff. I hope you're following my Twitter. If you don't follow it, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why people have this. I don't like Elon Musk. Oh my God. This is still the best place. I want to read this thing to you. Oh, where is he? Doggone it. Oh, here we go. Listen to this. This is David Frum. Now listen to this. Listen to this very carefully, okay? This is the way they think. This is Russell Brand. This is his comment. People who are willing to believe that horse dewormer can cure a virus. Stop. You know what he's talking about, right? Stop. People who are willing to believe that horse dewormer can cure a virus, that Ukraine is to blame for Russia's war. I agree. They are not to blame for Russia's war. I agree with that one. It's NATO. It's Victoria Nuland. It's the military industrial. Yes, but NATO, no, not NATO. No, they're the innocent victims. I agree with that. And that lizard men rule the world from Davos. Now, I don't know what that's. David Icke. Maybe that's replaying. Abruptly rediscover all their absent skepticism when multiple women accuse a man of sexual violence. So he's reducing this. You see, staying away from this. In order to maintain, this is my comment, in order to maintain member status among the not-so-intelligentsia, You have to be able to reduce imaginary conspiracy ideation into simplistic and misleading overstatements. The key is conflation, reduction, misdirection. This is part of the scrum as well. This is part of the scrum. Let me give you another example. This is another example. Thousands of climate activists marched in New York City calling on Biden to declare a climate emergency. These children have no idea what a climate emergency is or what could be done to address this imaginary emergency. But the fact remains that the next major shutdown will not be because of COVID or anything like that. It will be because of climate. And these children will celebrate. Let me say this again to you. This is the most important thing you got to understand. And I tell people this, and they look at me and they don't really understand. The next shutdown is going to be because of climate. Now, another one too is New York City Council advances a bid that could yank monuments. Okay. You can set your watch to this issue resurfacing. New York City political children who think it's somehow cool and fashionable to regurgitate the issues of the removal of historic statues. They don't believe it. They don't understand it. They just say it mindlessly. Okay. This is how the scrum works. This is what we're seeing. Once you gather this, once you grasp it, once you understand it, once you really see how it works, then you'll get it better. They work in murmurations like this. And you've got to sit back and say, okay, who are these people? Just going back to the Tim Ballard. I don't know where this started from. I don't know how anybody thought that wanting to protect children could somehow be tantamount to a conspiracy theory or something. I don't understand this. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. They so hate Trump and the scrum. Remember, the scrum is the left. That they take these people who, if I didn't know better, I think we're almost kind of manufacturing themselves. But they take these people. Let me tell you who they were. I can name some now because they're still doing it. They came upon this idea that said that Trump was God. Trump was 4D chess. Trump was the greatest living human being who ever lived. Trump was in the pantheon. Trump was Pegasus. Trump is God. Trump rides a golden steed and flies through the sky. Trump is greater, bigger, more incredible than anything anybody's seen. Trump is not mortal. Trump is from, okay. Then it started. You had these people who came along and they loved the word pedophile. They just went bananas. The word, they like to say it. They didn't understand it because that is merely something that indicates a form of excitation regarding a particular subject, but it is not really, we're not dealing with this. And the reason why we're not dealing with this is the people who are involved in trafficking are doing it not because of their own particular perverted carnal predispositions. They're doing it because of the fact they make money. This may surprise people. This may shock people. Drug dealers sell drugs not because they are trying to spread the word of liberal reconsideration of, no, it's because they make money. People who are involved in selling endangered species items, it's not because they're anti-environmentalists. No, it's because they wanted to make money. People who were involved in slave trade were not racist, though they might have, but that's not their motivation. They wanted to make money, or that was a commerce. People who are drug traffickers want to make money. Pornographers, people who want to sell pictures of CSAM, want to make money. Now they sell it to people who have horrible things, but they're missing the point. You see, but what I just told you is too much. It's too much explanation. The scrum says pedophiles, and then they became McCarthy-esque. There's pedophiles in Hollywood. There's pedophiles in the government. I've got a list here. Remember this? Remember this? The pedophile, the McCarthy list. I've got a list. I've got a list. The following people are in what? The communists, and a lot of them were. That's the way they think. Everybody's a pedophile. Everybody. Hollywood's about. Well, wait. And they went through the list. I'm not going to give you the names, but then they went through this. And I said, well, there goes our chance at this. There goes our chance at this. And we would say, well, we're talking about sexual predation, human trafficking. We're talking about labor trafficking. Labor trafficking. Who the hell wants labor trafficking? Labor trafficking. Labor trafficking is not interesting. I don't want to talk about labor trafficking. I want to talk about Hollywood. I want to talk about these people. No. You don't understand what's going on here. You don't get it. You're not following this. You're not paying attention to this. That's not what we're doing. We're not talking about this. And they're still at it. They're still at it. We're going to go get those pedophiles. Like, stop saying that. We're not talking. You're missing the point. You're just missing the point. I don't care what people think. I care what people do. There are people who are involved in, do you know that sextortion? Sextortion. Kids playing games, playing up, mind. I don't know what the name of the games are, but anyway, playing game. And all of a sudden there's it. Boom. See, gaming is it. Gaming is the most important. Gaming. Oh, dear God. There was a friend of mine years ago who absolutely nailed it, who just predicted game, saw it. And as somebody's playing, and you're there at home, you're watching, and your kid's playing with this on the floor. Somebody comes along and says, hey, look at this. This is long story short. There's this. Hang on a second here. Let me check this out. Okay. Now, how do we explain this to people? I don't know. Explain the scrum. So let me tell you what they did. They took this idea and they said, okay, we're going to get those people. What are they talking about? They're talking about Trump. And they're saying kids. Okay, good. So we're going to say that they're a part of a conspiracy theorist who believes that pedophiles and traffickers are everywhere. Well, that's not what they're saying. That doesn't matter. That's what we're going to say they're saying. Okay? Okay, good. Hey, did you see this? Who's that? Tim Ballard. Who's Tim Ballard? Operation Underground Railroad. Okay. Whatever. No, there's a movie. A movie. Yeah, it's called Sound of Freedom. It's about him. And they got Jim Caviezel. Wait a minute. Hold it. The Passion of the Christ guy? Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold it. This is big. Yeah, I know it's big. Do you mean to tell me that he's involved in this? Is it Mel Gibson? Well, maybe not. But we got to go after this movie. Why? Well, because they like the movie. They like it. They're loving this movie. In fact, this thing's making more money. We'll suppress it. Make sure you do as much as you can. Shut this thing down. Excuse me. Are we against stopping child trafficking? It doesn't matter. If Trump likes it, we hate it. You got it? I got it. If Trump hates it, we got it. So all of a sudden, they wove this yarn this story about how the Trump, the right wing, how these people are involved in this. I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it. But the story became produced, and the story became advanced, and the story became this lunacy that this was a part of this cabal, these weird, crazy people. And I can tell you, and I'm not going to give you the names, but there were some people who were instrumental in trying to get this movie out. And by the way, I'm not the biggest fan of the movie. Again, it should be about this country. I don't know why people, they always say, we're going to help the girls in Africa. That's important. What about the girls here? Oh, come on. It's like people who say, we don't have food shortages in the United States. That's elsewhere. No, it's here. Anyway, Jim Caviezel is one of the weirdest people, bar none. Have you heard him talk about the Holy Spirit and God and the devil? It sounds like a child. And Jesus can beat the devil because the devil, oh my God. Okay, fine. But you know what? So this is perfect. They're getting this guy aligned with Mel Gibson, all this stuff. So they want to kill this movie. And every week, the numbers were just, so what happened? Like manna from heaven. Maybe there is a devil. It turns out that Vice magazine reports that the reason why Operation Underground Railroad, which has nothing to do with the movie, though the movie is about him, doesn't matter. It's like, for example, if you said John Walsh was instrumental in finding kids, but John Walsh's life, for example, might be alleged to be such as, well, who cares about that? He's helping to find criminals, and doesn't matter. If they want to hurt you, they will conflate the two. Do you follow me on this? Good. Because they can't compartmentalize. So now, because of this, they're trashing Sound of Freedom. And Sound of Freedom is saying, excuse me, we have nothing to do with Tim Ballard. Well, it's about Tim Ballard. So what? It's about human trafficking. Yeah, but it's about him. He's not alleged, because it's all allegations, to be involved in children. He's alleged to be with women and whatever it is. So, wait a minute. You're defending Russell Brand. Well, that's different. Wait a minute. What's the difference? You don't like him. You don't like, obviously you don't like Tim Ballard. He's an adult having, and I don't think there's been, again, allegations. I don't think the allegations involve any kind of force type of conduct or behavior. This is something a little bit different. Well, yeah, maybe. Wait a minute. Do you have any idea what you're saying? Not really. Not really. It's bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre. Figure this thing out. Are you following this? It's incredible. What I just spent, I've been talking now for 33 minutes. And it's important for the American people, those particularly who find themselves in this conservative bent, which I've been reluctantly thrown into because I am not a conservative. This is common sense to me. This has nothing to do with conservatism. Nothing. Because I'm always fighting these conservatives. They're going to destroy or try to destroy the idea that children are being victimized. And by the way, who are the people who love that? Not Hollywood, but people so big, so huge. This is the biggest $1 billion. I do this on my private channel. You have to understand something. This is important. This is very, very, very important. I've talked to you before privately about what I have heard and what we have heard in our many, many trips. I will never forget the time that Mrs. L and I spoke to a man who I believe was a, I guess he was a, from South America. I think it was Argentina, if I recall correctly. And he was involved in, by the way, this is the link for the private channel. Please, that's it right there. And it's also, by the way, everything I say, every reference is on the description part of this. You have to go below the page in case you're on a phone and you're listening to this later on and you have to know, well, where is this? It's on the phone. You got to hit that more button because it's all below. Okay. I told you, I think I told you, or I know I told it there, of a story of what he found in the woods, in the jungles, in the whatever. Blew my mind. This is a regular person just standing there talking, and nobody knows anything about this. See, let me just explain something to you. It's very, very simple. Let's assume I have, where is my famous, yes, this is my everything. Let's assume I'm going to sell you this. This is cocaine or heroin. Well, let's make it easy, cocaine, all right? A big, pretty pure, pretty good, not stepped on too much. But this, I don't know, there's more than an 8-ball, but it's big. Let's say it's an ounce, whatever it is. This amount, this quality, this quantity, brother. You know what I got to do to make this? Okay. I got to go to Bolivia. I got to go to Colombia. I got to go someplace. And I got to have people grow this stuff. And then they take this and they drag these leaves up. And I got to pay off the federales and this one and that one. They know where we are. They got people talking. I've got my competitors telling them. So my competitors I got to work on. So they take the leaves and they put kerosene and all this stuff and they step on it and then they make the paste and then we cover it up and then we got to make the bricks and then I got to pay them and then drag this up to some airstrip. Then I got to take that and fly that to wherever the hell it is, Jamaica or Bahamas, who the hell knows, and then drive it up here. And then I turn it over to you. You pay me a lot of money, then you take it and you dispense it and then you're out of it and I'm out of it. And I got to go back. And I'm done. I got to start all over again. With the leaves and the guy and the kerosene and the paying the people. I'm saying, this is not worth it. But, imagine this is a child. That lasts me forever. As long as a child is alive. And I'm going to stop right there. And I talk about this in greater detail on my. That lasts forever. And that I can hide. That, who is this? I don't know. She's a poor child we rescued. Oh, okay. You mean Operation Rescue? Oh, no, this is, yeah, something like that. Well, where are they? Well, we don't know. But she's here. She's unaccompanied. Who are her parents? I don't know. Her parents might have sold her. We have no idea. This child has no name. No, nothing. Doesn't exist. And whatever happens, I'm just going to leave it there. The amount of, I don't want to use words like mileage. It's who wants to go into drugs? I can hide it. You pull me over, I've got a kid. You pull me over, I've got drugs. What's easier to explain? The amount that goes on at truck stops, the amount you have no, I mean, it blows your mind. And let me also tell you something. You must understand something. You must recognize something. And J. Edgar Hoover found this. We found this out as well with him. The police never want to tell you how much crime there is. And the reason why is because they're supposed to fight crime. So why is there so much crime if they're doing their job? You see, that's the problem. That's the problem before. See, J. Edgar Hoover never wanted to tell people, yeah, there's a mafia, there's an organized crime, kind of international. It's all over. It's in New York. It's in the South. There's 5 families. 5 families. There might be, I don't know, at that time, 2,000, 3,000 on it with associates, 5,000, 5,000. And they're organized. There's a structure. They're into everything from prostitution to loan sharking to this, to that, to labor. J. Edgar Hoover can't say that. No, he said communism. So don't expect anybody out there in the world to tell you, oh, yeah, oh, human trafficking's through the roof. No. So what do? Here comes somebody who's making a movie and making money. Oh no, we got to shut this guy down. Why? Because first of all, he's given up our thing. The amount of corruption, I keep holding this up. The amount of corruption that's involved in children, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And let me tell you something. Some very, 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 very smart and evil people. And listen to me carefully. Some very smart and evil people are saying, now listen, make sure that you send to the rest of the world this idea that kids just aren't that special. We're going to play with their gender. We're going to play with their gender assignment. We're going to play with their sense of gender. We're going to play with their family, dating, communication. We're going to play with their minds. We're going to put devices that addict them. We're going to have kids. So I told you this. Listen to what I'm saying. I told you this. Dear friend of mine, 4th grade teacher, she has kids. They give the kid a pen and the kid has no, I know sometimes people don't write well, but when I just did this is on the Palmer method. No, but they have no idea why. Because they don't play ball anymore. When you're a kid and you do this, oh, spherical, got it. Spherical, linear, oblong of spherical, circular, heavy, weight, got it. Placement. Let me throw it. I threw it too fast there. Understanding of power, distance, judging distance, parietal lobe, appearance. Where am I? Where do I fit in the scheme of space? All of these little connections. You talk about artificial intelligence. Let's play this. Let's talk. Let's experience. Let's chat. Let's have fun. Let's move. We don't do that anymore. A child has this. That's it. The thumb stuff, I can't do that. But this is the most incredible thing in the world. This is what makes us humans. And who knew this would be them? I'm terrible at this. Now, why is that important? A child, listen to me carefully. A child does not read anymore. A child has to read to track. You read and you track, and then you remember what words kind of look like, so you jump ahead. You've memorized kind of the way they look. You jump ahead. So you're kind of remembering sort of what they're like. And then you have to remember, and then you have to think, and then you have to say, where was the name of that person? Where are we going with this? And what did I just read? I'm reading this, so I got to put it into my head, create the story, create this little movie that I'm creating, because I'm reading words. The little Red Riding Hood, and the wolf, and again I got a wolf. The wolf looks like that. Little Red Riding Hood, blow your house down. Okay, I got it. I got to think it. Okay. That may not seem like much to you. That's everything, as opposed to this. And the information is just blasting. They don't have to track. So kids today can't read. They can't read because they can't track. They don't track. They don't read anything. They don't read. They don't imagine. They don't do this. They don't. They can't hold pens. They can't. And then when you sit there and you say, now, I'm going to teach you fractions. Excuse me, what? My friend, and there are kids in the 4th grade. Remember how innocent you were in the 4th grade? I've got kids, or she's got kids, in the 4th grade who were saying things sexually that would blow your mind. You got it? Blow your mind. So she said, today we're going to learn fractions. And somebody said, fractions? You better give me, you better have some bells and whistles and flash. I don't do fractions. Wait a minute. What? What is that? I don't know what you're talking. I don't have time for this. Entertain me. I might listen to you if you dance, flash some lights. This is where we are today. It's beyond critical. Beyond critical. So Tim Ballard. Now, he is presumed innocent. Russell Brand is presumed innocent. And if I met Tim Ballard, I'm going to say, well. You, now Caviezel, as weird as he is, I think is sincere. I think he really, really is into Jesus and the devil. And I think I would be shocked. I wouldn't be surprised, but I would be shocked if he lived some debauched, sybaritic life, if he was concupiscent and lubricious. And I don't think so. But this guy, you just let everybody, all those people who came and cried, even though you have nothing to do with the movie and the movie nothing to do with you, this is what's going on in the world today. This is what's going on in the world. So I've got to be able to explain to people. Now you got to understand something. Now let me change the subject a little bit, okay? And first, let me also tell you something. I've said this before, and I know I'm doing this the wrong way, but right now it's a nice 62 crisp day in New York City. And the windows are open, and even though you hear gunshots and screaming, still the windows are open. It's nice, it's cool, and you want to have a nice sheets and percales and everything you can imagine. If you go to mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, look and see what they've got. It will blow your mind. You see this? Follow this, mypillow.com. I've got all of these links here. Look at what they've got. The MyPillow King and Queen, save 50%, $39.99 with the promo code. The original My Slippers, exclusive flash sale, $39.98. Original price, $139.98. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Towel sets. The biggest bed sheet sale ever. Giza sheet sets, as low as $29.98. Overstock sales. Toppers. Go through this. It is the most incredible. And here's the deal. In as much as these are wonderful products, and they're great. This man went against, he's kind of almost like a Caviezel, so to speak, in fighting people who they loved and they thought he was great, and Bed Bath & Beyond liked him, and everything was terrific, and they sold these things. But just like what happens when they get the message, just like when they get the message from Anheuser-Busch and Dylan Mulvaney, who, by the way, is nowhere to be found, they just said, oh, no, we're going to pull it. And they went out of business, and they wanted to ruin him. They want him, the scrum. It's the scrum. So go to mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, and receive a free gift. No purchase necessary. Now, let me go back to you. Let me go back to you. Let me say something to you right now. They want people to destroy our history. In New York City, we have a number of statues right around Fifth Avenue in Central Park. You know, you've got Sherman, and you got this, or you got Washington. Well, George Washington, they want to remove. Next, they're going to go to Constitution Hall in Philly, because they were slave owners, right? Now, here's my question. When do you as a person decide that you're going to turn your back on history? When do you, let's say you're in Germany and you know some bad stuff happened there. And let's say there was a statue to somebody that we don't like anymore, but who was a bad, bad man. A bad, bad man who did bad, bad things. Okay? You know what I'm talking about? And there was a statue of him. Do you have a problem with them taking down that statue? It's their country. But do you think that would be logical? I think so. You got a problem with that? But he was a hero then. Well, he might have been a hero then, but not anymore. Okay. So you don't have a problem with that? Don't have a problem with that. Okay. What about somebody like George Washington? What if somebody says, I see George Washington and I feel that he's such and such. But I like George Washington, but I don't. Here's Stonewall Jackson. But Stonewall Jackson was he was with the Confederacy. Yeah, but you don't understand. No, you don't understand. Take that down. Robert E. Lee, take that down. Anything that mentions Lee, take that down. I'm not too crazy about Lincoln, because Lincoln, the Emancipation Proclamation really wasn't about freeing the slaves. It was about such and such. Take that down. So here's my question. When do you stop? When do you stop? And and I know there are people who do not care. We have right now at Columbus Circle a statue of Christopher Columbus on top of a I don't know if it's a plinth or a pedestal. Plinth is such a great word. A plinth is the lowest part of the base of an architectural column. I don't know what you want to call this thing, but it's huge. You can't see that. And Columbus Circle, this is where Joe Colombo was shot. This is right. It opens up into Central Park at the Merchants Gate, or whatever it is. And they've had this forever. And they always want to take it down. And the reason why they haven't really defamed it or debased it or disgraced it is because it's so high up. Do we take down Christopher Columbus? Okay. What happens if a group of people say, this bothers us, we want to take this down? Do they have the right? I think so. Will society suffer if we take down Christopher Columbus? Do most people know what Christopher Columbus did? Did Christopher Columbus discover America? No. Christopher Columbus did this to the natives and But what do you do? Tell me what you do. What do you do with Christopher Columbus? What do you do? In my humble opinion, if a country wants to do that, if a city wants to do it, you can do whatever you want. There were statues who, by the way, the Daughters of the Confederacy, I think, put up. There are these statues where if you put up like a rope around it and pull, they just break. And the reason why they were put up so hastily, they were put up not as any kind of a fond recollection, but they were done kind of as a, oh yeah, listen what we think about you and your civil rights. Well, here's Stonewall Jackson. How you like that? Now, does that matter? There are people who are Daughters of the Confederacy. Is that against? How do you do this? What do you have to know? You have to understand the ability to apportion blame and to be able to identify specifically the various concomitant issues. They do not have the ability to do so. Look at what's happening with Russell Brand. They can't handle all these. The same thing with Tim Ballard. There's about 5 issues that are all going on. There's the movie. There's Operation Underground Railroad. There's the person. There's the crime or the allegations, whether it's a crime or not, a different story. And there's all of these things. Each one is different. Can America handle that? No. Why? Because America can't read. America can't think. America doesn't know this. Not only that, the scrum. They're trying to get. They will not be happy until Russell Brand is ground into dust. And if you want to see him, there's a recent video of Russell Brand laughing about certain terrible behaviors with women. There is if you want to see this absolutely disgusting video where there's Tucker Carlson squealing like a little girl, just giggling, meeting his hero, Russell Brand, just giggling. Like with Andrew Tate. Oh, he was giggling. I don't understand this. I don't understand. By the way, Tucker, is this the kind of testosterone you wanted? Is this what you meant? These are all little boys, and you'd act like that too. I don't understand what's going on here. And going back to what I said originally, there's a bunch of people out there who are acting like the tough, marauding warriors. And I don't want to say, but it's like, I don't know how many there are, but There are people who went to war and came back and they are so messed up. They are so hurt and they are so damaged and destroyed. They're not big and bulky and they have tattoos and beards. They're just trying. They're alcoholic. So, and some are okay. A lot of them are okay, but they're just not right. They'll never be the same after what they've seen. There are more. There are more military suicides now than ever. There are people who are suicidal and who have PTSD who never even saw a battle. Does anybody want to talk about that? No, because the scrum right now, the scrum on social media is to have everybody, you were next, Delta Force, you see it. Don Shipley does a show called Bud's Class. He goes after people who are themselves, I guess you would say, people who are, it's stolen valor. And it's thoroughly disgusting. That's all. All right, my friends, that's all I want to say. I hope you are watching this. I hope you are understanding and grasping it because this is the most important issue right now. It has nothing to do with Russell Brand. I promise you. I promise you. This has to do with our ability to handle multiple issues simultaneously, to understand what they are, to not lose our mind, to lose our focus, to, as Scott Fitzgerald said, to handle two seemingly inconsistent issues simultaneously and not losing a mind in the first place. And I don't think we're able to do that. I don't think we're able to do that because of who we are. We're too much into this immediate. There's a scrum sometimes among us as well who really has no interest in, just loves to scream and yell, and that's fine. But be not mistaken. There is a war on for our society, for our morality, our sense of order and justice. And right now, as we speak, there's a UN, one of the most frightening groups ever. They are the original ones. And there's an extra governmental authority that poses more of an existential threat to this country than anything you can imagine. Thank you for watching, dear friends. Please like. Don't forget, please, I ask you again, don't forget, go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com, save $200 off a 3-month emergency food kit, preparewithlionel.com. This is available on the page itself. So just if you're on a phone, the link is there. And also, by the way, mypillow.com promo code Lionel for a free gift. That's also on the page itself. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. See you tonight at 7 p.m. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Ta-ta.